and stone heart of Jesus crucified, and lover to of all poor souls, for whom our Savior died.
Saints of pity, saints of power, hear, oh hear me in this hour. St Gerard, pray for me. St Gerard, pray for me.
In all my sorrow, all my pain, all accepted and sure, great wonder walking saint of God, kind brother of the poor.
Saints of pity, saints of power, hear, oh hear me in this hour. St Gerard, pray for me. St Gerard, pray for me.
Dear patron of the prodigal, who would forgiveness win, lead me to my Father's need, and help me with my sin.
Saints of pity, saints of power, hear, oh hear me in this hour. St Gerard, pray for me. St Gerard, pray for me. Saint Gerard, true to Mary, pure and true to Mary's child, pray that my soul by sin's dark stain be never more defiled. Saints of pity, saints of power, hear, oh hear me in this hour. St Gerard, pray for me. St Gerard, pray for me.
My dear confreres, my dear Redemptorist sisters, my dear sisters associated with our Redemptorist mission, my dear Redemptorist lay collaborators, associates, and missionaries, my dear brothers and sisters, friends of our Redemptorist family. In a few days from now, we celebrate the feast of St Gerard Majella, one of the most loved of all our Redemptorist saints, blessed, and martyrs. St Gerard Majella is known as the patron of mothers, the mother saint, especially expectant mothers, for a safe confinement, a safe childbirth. He's also called the saint of children, especially the unborn child. He's patron for all those who aren't able to conceive, and so is prayed to for the gift of a child and for a safe delivery. He's also called the saint of those accused falsely, the saint of a good confession, the saint of religious brothers, the joyful saint. Gerard Majella was born in a small town in southern Italy called Muro Lucano on the 6th of April, 1726. His parents, Domenico and Benedetta Majella, a simple, hard-working family, his father a tailor. At the age of 11, his father died. And Gerard, being the only son, his mother sent him to learn the tailoring trade from an uncle. Here in the tailoring workshop, Gerard was subject to a lot of hardship, taunting, difficulties. But for 3 years he put up with all of this silently to learn the trade of being a tailor. When his mother came to know of these difficulties, she took him away and sent him, through the help of an uncle, to work for a bishop, the Bishop of Lacedonia. And there for 2 years, Gerard on the one hand studied Latin, as well as served at the bishop's table. When eventually the bishop died, Gerard returned to his hometown and took up tailoring. He was an excellent tailor, and with the money he earned, he took care of his mother and his sisters, as well as used the remaining money to give to the poor and to offer masses for the souls in purgatory. Gerard was drawn naturally to follow Jesus, and above all, Jesus on the cross. It was this that enabled him to seek to enter into the religious way of life. Twice he tried with the Capuchin fathers, but he was rejected because he was the only son and because they found him not very strong in health. It was the year 1747. And in that year, none other than the Redemptorists happened to come to the town of Muro Lucano. They came during Lent to preach a mission which was normal to the Redemptorists at the time. Gerard went to the mission and was fascinated by the Redemptorists' preaching. What excited him was the way they held the crucifix and showed the power of love in Jesus crucified. So captivated was Gerard that he wanted to be part of the Redemptorist family. His mother noticed a change in Gerard, and she was afraid he would go and join the Redemptorists. And so on the last day of the mission, the mother left early for the mission, and she locked the door of the house from outside, so that Gerard inside would be locked in and would not be able to attend. However, Gerard let himself down from the window of the house using bedspreads, and he left a note on the table. I am going to become a saint. I'm going to become a saint. He attended the last day of the mission, and he went to Father Paolo Caffaro, the Redemptorist in charge of the mission, and requested to enter the Redemptorist family. Paolo was drawn by the enthusiasm of this young man, but was reluctant, knowing he was the only son of his widowed mother, and also discerning that Gerard was not strong in health and might not have had the strength to face the rigors of religious life. But the enthusiasm of the young man convinced Paolo Caffaro, who finally sent him off to Deliceto. Gerard enters in 1749, the 17th of May, to become a Redemptorist in Deliceto. A few years later, on the 16th of July, the Feast of the Most Holy Redeemer and also the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, Gerard was professed as a Redemptorist after 3 years of entering into the congregation. For the next 3 years, Gerard, as a young Redemptorist brother, would offer himself in service in various capacities. As sacristan, as porter, as receptionist, as cook, as money raiser, fundraiser, even maintaining houses and overseeing the construction of another house. Gerard's closeness to people, especially the poor, is what drew him to people. And God blessed Gerard with amazing gifts, above all, the gift of prayer that enabled Gerard to do wonderful things, which touched the lives of people. And so many miracles were attributed to Gerard during his lifetime. He would pray, and a town infested with rats was rid of the rats. Or traveling in a boat in a terrific storm with danger of capsizing, he prayed and the storm ceased. Or again, a family who had struggled without harvest for 3 years, he prayed and blessed the family and they had a bumper crop of wheat. Or again, he would pray seeking people to come to the sacrament of reconciliation with the gift of reading people's hearts, saying, you need God's mercy, come to the God of love in the sacrament. Amongst the many miracles, some levitations, some even spectacular moments in his life, there's one special moment. Gerard was visiting a family, and after he had spent time chatting with the family, he was leaving, and he accidentally dropped his handkerchief. One of the young ladies of the family picked it up and offered it back to him. And smilingly, Gerard said to her, keep the handkerchief. Someday you might need it. Well, a couple of years later, the young lady, now married, was pregnant for her first child. She was having a very difficult pregnancy, and as she came to childbirth, there was danger that she would lose the child or she herself could die. It's at that moment she remembered Gerard's words about the handkerchief. She begged her family to bring that handkerchief to her. They did. She took the handkerchief and touched it to herself, and immediately her pain subsided, and miraculously she had a normal childbirth, carrying the newborn baby. Naturally, word spread amongst the people at a time and an age where many died in childbirth and many babies died during childbirth. Gerard was known to bless couples who had no children and longed for a child, and lo and behold, they conceived. Gerard was known to bless children who were sick and infirm, and they were healed. No wonder Italian women, especially in the south, hailed him as the patron of mothers. And at his beatification, he was called the patron of a good pregnancy and a happy childbirth. Gerard's life was a difficult one. Joyful on the one hand, but trials, sufferings, challenges, accusations, problems. But in all of that, there was a serenity, a calmness, a peace that was marvelous, that flowed from his deep love for Jesus. Gerard, just 3 years in religious life. It was 1755. On his way to his most beloved Marian shrine, Mater Domini, the Mother of the Lord, this small little town where the Redemptorists looked after the Marian shrine of the Mother of the Lord, Gerard, suffering with severe tuberculosis, eventually reaches Mater Domini in the August of 1755. But it's a difficult time, a time of deep suffering and gradual loss of health. At the end of the day of the 15th of October, and just past midnight into the 16th of October, Gerard breathed his last. The 16th of October, 1755. No sooner as the word spread that Gerard had died, the people said, "We have a saint." And crowds flocked from all the neighboring towns and villages, some traveling distances to be present at the funeral of their beloved saint. Well, Gerard was beatified. He was beatified by Pope Leo XIII on the 29th of January, 1893. Not long after, he was canonized by Pope Pius X in 1904. And he's called in southern Italy the patron saint of mothers. An amazing saint, a Redemptorist brother, Gerard Majella. In preparing for the feast of St. Gerard Majella, which is on the 16th of October, we will reflect on his life and spirituality through his 4 loves. First, his love for Jesus crucified. Second, his love for Jesus in the Most Holy Eucharist. Third, his love for Jesus' mother, Mary. And fourth, on his feast day, we will reflect on a special love of Gerard, his love for the poor. And so I invite you, my dear Redemptorist confreres, my dear Redemptorist sisters, my dear sisters from various congregations associated with our Redemptorist mission, my dear Redemptorist lay associates, collaborators, missionaries, my dear brothers and sisters, friends, to join me in this Triduum, and finally on the feast day, of reflecting and praying with St. Gerard Majella. Spread the word around that we grow deeper in love with Jesus, our most beloved God. The words of Gerard. May this time be a time of prayer with Gerard, that the love of the Lord be central in our life.
Servant of God, you are close to the poor, O wonder worker of God. Hearken to my call, in our need for healing, for health or for a child. Your faith in God will make miracles come true. Now we come to you, St. Gerard Majella, intercede for us all. Aid us in our prayers, hear the pleas of mothers and your children too. Help us to be humble in our faith, St. Gerard Majella. Those in need, in times of test and sorrow, in sin or in distress, your prayers can make miracles come true. Now we come to you, St. Gerard Majella, intercede for us all, aid us in our prayers, hear the pleas of mothers and your children too. Help us to be humble in our faith, St. Gerard Majella. Now we come to you, St. Gerard Majella, intercede for us all, aid us in our prayers, hear the pleas of mothers and your children too. Help us to be humble in our faith, St. Gerard Majella.